Welcome back, Jericho. Chapter 15, Vapours. Moll's spirits leapt as she made out the green eyes glinting in the darkness. "You came for me!" she gasped, rushing up the steps. She gripped the metal bars of the grate tight, and Griff brushed his head against her hands. Again his touch so warm and strong. Alfie watched wide-eyed from the bottom of the pit. Earth sprayed up behind the wildcat as his claws raked through the soil, burrowing closer and closer to Moll. He drew back, panting hard, his chest heaving. Alfie tensed. The animal was wild. He might slip into the pit and attack. He shuffled backwards, but Moll was smiling. There was a hole, and it was big enough for her to crawl through. "You won't get past Skull's clearing," Alfie muttered uneasily, as he realised the hole wasn't big enough for him. "Try me." Alfie held the roll of leather into the light of his match. "Don't you want to find the amulets?" Forces far bigger than Moll could understand tugged hard inside her. She looked from the leather to Alfie, and then up to Griff. She lunged at Alfie, but he drew out his knife. "Stay, and I'll give you the roll of leather," he growled. "You won't escape Skull without my help." Moll's eyes grew dark, then she turned and scrambled up out of the hole. Alfie watched in surprise. Who was this girl who charged headlong into danger again and again and again? "You'll be back," he called. "You've no idea what's out there." Moll found herself grabbing Griff and clutching him tight. Then they ran across the clearing and into the trees. She hadn't gone more than a few steps before she felt them, squeezing out of the crippled trees like vapours of the night. Moll hadn't been imagining them when they crossed the river. These shadows were real. They floated towards Moll and Griff, faceless and black, moaning like funnelled wind. Moll closed her eyes and ran blindly on, but as her fear swelled, the shadows grew, looming over her like bottomless caves. Moll clenched her fists. The shadows were slipping in between her and Griff, forcing them apart. She reached out desperate arms, but the shadows grew larger between the two fugitives, driving them further away until Moll could no longer see Griff, and once more he'd vanished into the trees. The shadows were all around Moll now, and she skidded to a terrified halt. She felt the weight of their darkness pressing down on her chest. She knew what they wanted. Cool fingers slipped down her throat, plucking at her trembling voice. "Your name," they moaned. "Give us your name." Moll doubled over, closing her mind to the shadows, but the darkness inside her was too much. She sank to her knees, alone again and terrified. My word, that was an exciting chapter, wasn't it? What will happen to Moll next? Find out in the next instalment, Jericho. Stay safe, stay positive, stay well.